Katy Perry literally said Benson Boone was going to win American Idol, but then he quit. Taylor Swift actually brought him on stage, and he changed his lyrics mid-show. And he had no idea he could sing until his friends dared him to. Benson Boone's story is actually insane. But first, let's talk about his American Idol audition. By early 2021, Benson Boone was just some kid casually posting singing videos on TikTok. No fancy lighting, no big edits, just him, a piano, and a voice that didn't sound like it belonged to someone that new. But somehow, it hit. People stopped scrolling, then they started sharing, and in just a few months, his follower count exploded past 1 million. That's when American Idol came calling. The producers personally reached out and invited him to audition for season 19.
Oh my gosh.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing really good.
He showed up, quiet, polite, a little unsure, and then he sang Punchline by Aiden Martin.
I don't know if I'm in the crowd, though I stand alone. You know all the words, but don't sing along.
Judges froze. Katy Perry leaned in, genuinely moved. She called him raw talent and told him straight up, you could win this thing.
I'm going to tell you something that you may not believe, but if you believe it, it might happen. I mean, I'm like literally, I like see American Idol and I see you, and I see you winning American Idol if you want to.
Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan agreed. This wasn't just a good audition, it was a this guy's gonna be a star moment. But Benson didn't stay, he made it all the way to the top 24 and then pulled out. He later said he didn't want his story shaped by a show.
You know, American Idol, I feel like is something like a lot of people on the show kind of dream of doing. And for me, I had just got into music and I wasn't really sure, you know, if that's the route I wanted to take in my life. So I stepped away from the show so I could like dive into it for myself and see if that's what I wanted to do kind of without the pressure.
He wanted to figure it out on his own with no pressure, no contracts, no format. At first, people thought he made a mistake, but months later, when he started dropping original songs on streaming platforms and building a real fan base, it became clear that decision wasn't impulsive, it was intentional, and it paid off because his voice, it wasn't built for one show, it was built for something way bigger. Benson Boone had no idea he could sing until his friends basically dared him to.
And my friend asked me to play the piano for like their band, and it's just a high school band, like it's no big deal.
Back in 2019, he was a junior at Monroe High School. He wasn't writing music, he wasn't in choir, he was an athlete, competing in diving, running cross country, and doing backflips off anything stable. Then a friend asked him to fill in last minute for a Battle of the Bands gig.
But then our singer quit and someone else had to sing, and
he had zero experience performing, but agreed to play piano and sing. No warm-up, no mic check, just him, a piano, and an auditorium full of people. And when he started singing, the room went still. His family was in the audience, and they were stunned.
My parents are sitting there bawling their eyes out.
What?
It's like the craziest thing that's ever happened. And then we won by like $700, and it was just like the most bizarre experience of my life.
His mom later said she didn't even know he could sing like that. He didn't either. That moment hit him like a wave. People weren't just clapping, they were blown away. It was the first time he saw his voice as something real, something people connected to, something that gave people chills. After that performance, he started writing songs, mostly from his own emotions. He'd play around on the piano at home, recording voice notes, figuring things out as he went. No vocal lessons, no music theory, just instincts. And slowly, what started as a fluke started to feel like a calling. Then in 2024, he got a phone call that would change everything. Taylor Swift wanted him on her tour. By this time, Benson had built a strong base on TikTok and released tracks like Ghost Town and In the Stars. But then, Beautiful Things blew up. Millions of views, global charts, a full debut album on the way. And then Taylor Swift's team reached out. They invited him to be a special guest opener for the Eras Tour in London at Wembley Stadium. That's not a gig. That's the kind of stage artists dream about. And here's the best part. Benson didn't even know much about Taylor's music at the time. He literally admitted in interviews that he had to catch up fast, so he binged her entire discography, studying her live performances, learning her fans' energy.
She's amazing, she's so kind. Everything she does, everything she touches turns to gold, so I was just happy to be a part of one show.
And when he stepped on that stage, he didn't hold back. He played hits from Fireworks and Rollerblades, jumped around the stage, and even changed the lyrics of Beautiful Things to include I Need Taylor Swift.
I want you, I need you, girl. I need Taylor Swift. These beautiful things that are
90,000 fans screamed back at him. Taylor was impressed. During her set, she called him so legit and such a showman.
First person that you saw perform tonight is an artist who I just think he's so legit. Like, this is an artist who is writing, is such a showman. He's out here doing flips for you. Give it up for Ryan from Boone.
Backstage, someone caught him tearing up after hearing her words, but he didn't just earn respect, he proved that he belonged on the biggest stages in the world, because everything about him, from the way he moves to the way he sounds, commands attention. Benson Boone performs like he was raised on adrenaline, and that's kind of true. His dad, Nate, used to do backflips at family events, literally, once off a second-floor balcony.
My dad is 49 years old and still backflips, and I get it from him. I always thought he was like the coolest, and so like
because he is the coolest.
he is the coolest.
So naturally, young Benson was climbing furniture and flipping off couches before he could even spell stage. He didn't grow up in a studio. He grew up pole vaulting, diving, and launching himself off anything solid. He once ran a 5 kilometers in under 20 minutes as a freshman, and that athletic energy, he brings it on stage. His first ever on-stage backflip happened at a small venue in LA in 2021. It wasn't planned. The music hit, the crowd was vibing, and he just went for it. Since then, the flips have become legendary. Off a piano at the 2024 MTV VMAs, over Quinta Brunson's head on SNL, even from Jimmy Fallon's table during rehearsal. At the 2025 Grammys, he pulled a front flip and backflip back to back, in shoes he later called terrible for landing anything.
Could you do a flip right now?
It's not a stunt, it's muscle memory. He moves like his voice is chasing him, and he's trying to stay ahead. But what really surprises people is how gentle he is with his family. April 2024, a concert in Utah. Benson Boone walks on stage, then brings out his little sister, Claire. They'd been singing together for years at home, goofing off on TikTok, posting clips where she'd sit on his shoulders while they harmonized. Just siblings messing around, but those videos, they blew up.
I can't remember life before you.
Fans had been asking for a proper duet for months, and finally, in front of a live crowd, they got one. The two stood side by side and sang To Love Someone. Claire looked nervous, but Benson didn't rush. He smiled, held her hand, gave her space. And when they started singing, their voices locked in like they'd been rehearsing their whole lives. They weren't performing for fame, they were just being sibling.
It kinda makes me feel like I wish I could change my name.
The kind that really love each other. When the song ended, he wrapped her in a hug, long, tight, like he was proud and protective at the same time. The moment went viral overnight, and it made sense because even with the lights, the tours, the screaming fans, Benson has never had a problem sharing the spotlight, especially with the people who made him who he is. He grew up in a house full of sisters, Barbie movies, dress-up games, sparkly storylines, and he was never the too cool for this brother. He was in it, fully. In an interview, he even said that those childhood moments shaped his entire personality, and especially his fashion. That's where his love for bold style came from. So when he showed up at the 2025 Grammys in a sheer glittery blue jumpsuit, it wasn't a statement, it was second nature. Benson doesn't dress to stand out, he dresses to feel like himself. Loud, soft, playful, emotional. It's all there in the clothes, and it's all there in the music too. His songs mix heartbreak with color, sadness with sweetness. They sound like what it feels like to miss someone and still hope they text you back, and that's what makes Benson Boone so different. Click on this next video to see some more amazing stories.